Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're drawing a really cute fairy girl. I got this book last year. I'll put the name on the screen, and it's all about drawing manga and anime characters, and it's by one of my favorite artists on Instagram. She does amazing, beautiful art. And I used one of her drawings as the starting point for my drawing to give me a reference for the pose and things like that. But then I kind of made the character my own. I really liked that she was like a fairy that had her wings kind of folded down, and I thought that was really cute. So the first thing I did was I sketched out the main shapes with a Crayola erasable pencil. I love these pencils for sketching. And then I went over everything to refine the sketch with a mechanical pencil. I usually didn't used to work with mechanical pencils to sketch, but I find them so convenient now. I got the tip from Super Ray Dizzle here on YouTube, and she uses mechanical pencils all the time. And I find that it's super convenient because you don't have to sharpen them. They're always the same consistent sharpness. This is actually a drawing for my newsletter subscribers. It's the free coloring page for April. And I wanted to do a hand-drawn coloring page this time because my very first coloring book that I ever created was made this way, and it took a really long time. Sometimes it's really nice when you do a lot of digital art to go back to your roots and do traditional art. I just love the tactile feeling of it. So I used some marker paper and my Staedtler fine liner pens to ink the final drawing. I really like how her pose turned out. I like the sort of flowy but still solid look of her dress and her hair. The one thing that really gets me every time for traditional drawing is symmetry. I never can get things perfectly symmetrical, and the frustrating thing is that I never see the errors until much later when I'm already finished with everything. I've put it away, and then I look at it again a couple of days later and I'm like, oh yeah, it's not symmetrical at all. So in that way, I really prefer drawing and designing digitally because it's so much easier to see when things are not symmetrical for some reason. I don't know. It's just how my brain works. I can see it so much easier when it's on a screen, and it's just so easy to see those asymmetrical lines. But when I'm drawing with pen and ink, it's just so difficult to get things perfect, which is part of the charm for traditional art, in my opinion. So if you like this kind of drawing, if you think it's cute and you like the little imperfections, you can subscribe to my newsletter and get this coloring page for free this month. And if you're watching this way in the future and you still want to get your hands on this, you can still subscribe and go through the archive and get the coloring pages that you want. So I've done a couple of these videos before, and one of the things I've never done is actually color my own coloring pages. I just really love creating like simple pen and ink drawings or black and white drawings, so I never wanted to color in my drawings. And also, the other thing that was a bit of a technical difficulty is that I didn't have a printer until recently. So now that I have a printer, I can actually print out my pages and color them in. Even though I'm creating this like on paper already, I'm actually going to scan this in and then print it out again to color it. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of style of video. I basically went through and filmed little spotlights and highlights throughout my process, and that way you can kind of see things in real time, although I think I sped it up just a little bit so that it's not super boring. It's amazing how much slower I draw than I think I do. I feel like I'm a pretty fast drawer. Maybe that's why things aren't very symmetrical most of the time, because I guess I'm rushing it. But when I watch it back, I'm so surprised at how slow it looks and how I feel like when I'm drawing, I'm doing it at like a normal pace, but then when I watch it back, it looks so slow. So I scanned it in and I used my drawing tablet to kind of clean it up. There are little smudges all over this page. The ink just did not dry fast enough, and I guess I put my hand over it a couple of times. So I cleaned it up a little bit, cleaned up all the smudges, made it nice and sharp, and also like fixed a couple of things, but I didn't do any major edits. So once I did that and then printed it out, I also made it just a little bit bigger. I feel like I drew it really small for some reason, and I was just trying really hard to get the proportions right, and when I do that, I tend to draw a little bit smaller. I also drew this little frame around her, and I kind of gave a little bit of a transparency to her wings and her skirt going over the frame, and I think this adds like a little bit of extra interest to it. When you color this page, you can definitely color in her background, but I chose to just color the frame, and I think it turned out really cute. I'm using my Ohuhu brush markers and some other random alcohol markers that I got off of Amazon to color her, and I went with like a golden goddess sort of theme. So she's blue and gold. I find that if you really want to make your piece look cohesive, your coloring, it's really easy to do if you limit your color palette. So if you find that you're using every single color in the rainbow when you color and you want it to look a little bit more cohesive, try limiting your color palette to just 2 or 3 colors. Or just maybe even one color. Give yourself a challenge. So one of the things that I kind of messed up is that I really loved how the wing was transparent and you could see the frame through it. But then when I looked on the other side, I realized her hair would go behind her wing. And I thought, oh, I'll make that transparent too. But I messed it up. It does not look good at all. Actually, when I looked at it in the video, it looks a little bit better. But in real life, it looked so awful. But don't worry, I fixed it in the end. I have a paint marker, a metallic marker pen that I use to kind of make it a little bit more opaque so that it doesn't look so terrible on that side. I also, at first I tried to kind of clean it up with my colorless blender marker, and it helped, but because I didn't have any other colors on top of it, I think it was just a bit of a lost cause. I had to layer something on top. And this is just regular printer paper that I'm coloring on, and these brush markers work great on just regular printer paper. They blend super well, but just remember to always, when you're using alcohol markers, to put an extra piece of paper behind your work, because especially there where I like put on a lot of ink in that area with her wing and her hair overlapping, the ink seeped through this piece of paper, it seeped through my spare piece of paper behind it, and stained my desk. So be careful when you're using alcohol markers. For the final details, I went in with my little paint marker and gave her a few highlights here and there and cleaned up the edges a little bit, and of course fixed that transparency issue. But I really like how it looks with her skirt and the wing going over the frame. I think it looks really cool. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed this drawing and coloring session. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!